श्लोक महला तीजा। जगत ज्ञानी अंध है, दूजै पाए कर्म कमाए। दूजै पाए जेते कर्म करे, दुख लगे तन ताए। गुर प्रसादी सुख उपजै, जा गुर का शब्द कमाए। सच्ची बाणी कर्म करे, अन दिन नाम त्याए। नानक जित आपे लाए, तित लगे कहना किछु न जाए। This whole world is blind and ignorant in the love of duality. It does all its actions in dual-mindedness, but those actions which are performed in the love of duality, they cause only pain to this body. By Guru's grace, peace and happiness comes when one acts according to the word of Guru's Shabad. One acts according to true word of Guru's Bani night and day and meditate on the Naam, the name of Vaheguru. O Nanak, as the God himself engages one, so is one engaged. No one has any say in this matter. Mahalla Tija। हम कर नाम खजाना सदा है, भगत परे भंडारा। सतगुर दाता जी का, सद जीवै देवण हारा। अंदिन कीर्तन सदा करहे, गुर कै शब्द अपारा। शब्द गुरु का सद उच रहे, जुग जुग वर्तावण हारा। एह मनुआ सदा सुख वसै, सहजे करे वापारा। अंतर गुर ज्ञान हर रतन है, मुकत करावण हारा। नानक जिसनो नदर करे, सो पाए, सो होवै दर सचियारा। Within one's home of one inner self, one's own being is the everlasting treasure of Naam. It is a treasure house overflowing with devotion. The true Guru is the giver of the life of the soul. He is the great giver, lives forever. Night and day I sing praises of Vaheguru, his kirtan continually. I praise through the infinite word of Guru Shabad. I continually recite Guru's kirtan, which has been affected throughout the ages. The mind ever abides in peace, dealing in peace and poise. Deep within me is Guru's spiritual wisdom, Vaheguru's jewel, who is the bringer of liberation. O Nanak, such people who are blessed by God's glance of grace, they obtain this and they remain judged to be true in the court of Vaheguru. पौड़ी तन तन सो गुर सिख कहिए, जो सतगुर चरणी जाए पया। तन तन सो गुर सिख कहिए, जिन हर नामा मुख राम कहया। तन तन सो गुर सिख कहिए, जिस हर नाम सुनिए मन अनद पया। तन तन सो गुर सिख कहिए, जिन सतगुर सेवा कर हर नाम लया। तिस गुर सिख कहो सदा नमस्कारी, जो गुर कै पाणे गुर सिख चलिया। Blessed is the Guru's Sikhs who has sought refuge at the lotus feet of Guru and who recites true name. Such a person who recites God's true name is acclaimed by everyone as praiseworthy. Even the Sikh who is thrilled by listening to the true name is acclaimed by all. Blessed is the Guru-minded person who has realized the true name through Guru's service. We salute Guru's Sikhs who follow Guru's dictates, Vaheguru's will, and who function as per his will. Slok Mahila Tija मन हट किने न पायो सब थके कर्म कमाए मन हट पेख कर परम दे दुख पाया दूजै पाए हृद सिद्ध सब मोह है नाम न वसै मन आए गुर सेवा ते मन निर्मल होवै अज्ञान अंधेरा जाए नाम रतन कर प्रगट हुआ नानक सहज समाए. There are many who have tired themselves by various religious actions and rituals, but no one has attained glimpse of Vaheguru by these acts of yoga, penance, pertinence of mind. In fact, being engrossed in dual-mindedness, people have performed these rituals or worship just for showing off. They undergo many sufferings because of this and keep wandering in doubts and fancies. All the efforts of achieving occult powers, riddhis, siddhis are aimed at developing love for the worldly falsehood, which never enables us to inculcate the love of true name in the heart. It is only through the service of the Guru that the heart could be purified, which dispels the darkness of ignorance. O Nanak, such people who are enlightened within the heart by the jewel of true name, they enjoy the eternal bliss by immersing in God's love all the time in the state of equipoise. Mahila Tija Shabdai Sadnayo नाम न लगो प्यार रसना फिक्का बोलना नित नित होए खुआर नानक किरत पइया कमावना कोई न मीटण हार. The self-willed people, they are never aware of the value of Guru's word and they are never imbued with the love of Vaheguru's true name. They always speak a crude and bitter language. As such, they are disgraced and dishonored everywhere. O Nanak, such people who do not recite God's true name while earning their livelihood, they are not engaged in truthful behavior or a true occupation. They have nothing in their hands, they have nothing in their control. There is no one else except that one God who could alter it. O Nanak, everyone have to face consequences of their past actions. They engage in such activities, causing suffering to them, but they could not alter it. It is because of their karmas. Pauri तन तन सतपुरख सतगुरु हमारा जित मिलिए हमको शांत आई तन तन सतपुरख सतगुरु हमारा जित मिलिए हम हर भगत पाई तन तन हर भगत सतगुरु हमारा जिसकी सेवा ते हम हर नाम लिव लाए तन तन हर ज्ञानी सतगुरु हमारा जिन वैरी मित्र हमको सब समदृष्ट दिखाई तन तन सतगुरु मित्र हमारा जिन हर नाम स्यो हमारी प्रीत बढ़ाई. Blessed is that true being, that true Guru, Satguru. Meeting him, I have found peace. Blessed is such a true being, my Satguru. Meeting him, I have attained Vaheguru's devotional worship. I have come to enshrine love for the name of God. Blessed is the knower of God, my true Guru. He has taught me to look upon friend and foe alike. Blessed is such a Guru, my true Guru, who is my best friend. He has led me to embrace love for the name of Vaheguru. श्लोक महला पहला करही मुंद विदेश फिर नित चूरे सम्माले मिलदया टिल न होवई जे नियत रास करे. The soul bride is at home while the husband God is away. She cherishes his memory and mourns his absence. She shall meet him without delay if she rids herself of duality. Mahalla pehla nanak gali kudiyan वाज प्रीत करे तिचर जाने भला कर जिचर लेवै दे. O Nanak, false is that speech of such people who act without loving Vaheguru. Such people judge things to be good only as long as Vaheguru gives and they receive. Pauri जिनु पाए जी तिन हर राखिया अमृत सच्चा नाव भोजन चाखिया तिपत रहे आघाए मिटी पपाखिया सब अंतरिक वर्तै किन्नै विरलै लाखिया जन नानक पै निहाल प्रभ की पाखिया. That Vaheguru, who has created all the beings, keeps sustaining them and protects them. We have partaken the nectar of true name and we remain fully satisfied. We have lost interest in all our worldly possessions. In fact, the Vaheguru abides within each individual, but only few Guru-minded people have perceived and realized him within their hearts. O Nanak, we have been thrilled and overjoyed by taking refuge at the lotus feet of God and by joining meeting with Him. Slok Mahalla Teja Satgur no sabko vekhda jeta jagat sansar डिठै मुकत न होवई जिचर शब्द ना करे विचार. हऊँ मैं मैल न चुकई नाम न लगे प्यार एक आपे बख्श मिलायन दुबिधा तज विकार. नानक एक दर्शन देख मर मिले सतगुर हेत प्यार. All the living beings of the world behold Satguru, the true Guru. One is not liberated by merely seeing him unless one contemplates the word of his Shabad. The filth of ego is not removed and one does not enshrine love for the Naam. Vaheguru forgives some and unites them with himself. They forsake their duality and sinful ways. O Nanak, some behold the blessed vision of true Guru's darshan with love and affection. Conquering their ego, they meet with Vaheguru. Mahalla Teja Satguru na sevyo मूरख अंध गवार. दूजय पाए बहुत दुख लागा जलता करे पुकार. जिन कारण गुरु विसारया सेना उपकरे अंति वार. नानक गुरमति सुख पाया बख्शे बख्शनहार. The foolish blind clown does not serve the true Guru, Satguru, in love with duality. This foolish person endures terrible suffering and burnings and cries out in pain. This person forgets the Guru for the sake of worldly objects, but they will not come to rescue in the end. Through the Guru's instructions, O Nanak, I have found peace. The forgiving God has forgiven me. Phode tu ape aap sab karta, koi दूजा होए सोवरो कहिए. हर आपे बोले आप बुलावे, हर आपे जल थल रव रहिए, हर आपे मारे हर आपे छोड़े, मन हर सरणी पड़ रही है, हर बिन कोई मार जीवाल न सके, मन होए निचिंद निसल होए रसिए, उठदियां बहदियां सुतियां सदा सदा, हर नाम ध्याइए, जन नानक गुरमुख हर लहिए। Oh Vaheguru, you are yourself controlling everything. There's no other second power except you. We could say something about the power, the person, if there were another one besides yourself. In fact, that God is pervading all over the world, including all the lands and oceans, and He alone is talking or making us talk through His grace. He is the cause and effect of everything happening in this world. We should seek the support of Vaheguru alone by taking refuge at His lotus feet. As Vaheguru alone is destroyer, or He arranges our emancipation from worldly bondage, there is none else except that God Almighty who is responsible for our destruction or bestowing this life on us, so we could relax without any worries by leaving everything to Him. O Nanak, let us recite God's true name all the time, whether in sitting, standing, or sleeping postures, being immersed in true name like the Guru-minded people. Shuddha एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैपं गुर प्रसाद। सूरठ महला पहला कर पहला चौपदे, सबना मरना आया विछोड़ा सबना, पुछो जाए सियाणिया आगे मिलन किनाह, जिन मेरा साहिब विसरै वडड़ी वेदन तिनाह। All the beings who are born in this world have to face death for sure. One day they are separated from their dear ones. You may ask some wise people whether there will be any chance of meeting those separated ones in the next world or not. In any case, all such people who have forsaken Vaheguru face lot of sufferings and pain. भी सलाह हो साचा सोए, जाकी नदर सदा सुख होए रहा। So let us recite the true name of the true Master and worship the God Benefactor who blesses us with all the benedictions through His grace. Pause. वड्डा कर सालाहना है भी होसी सोए, सबना दाता एक तू मानस दात न होए, जो तिस पावे सो थिए रन के रुन्ने होए। Let us praise Him as the greatest. He is and He shall ever be. You alone are the great giver. Mankind cannot give anything. Whatever pleases that Vaheguru comes to pass. What good does it do to cry out in protest? धरती ऊपर कोट गढ़ केती गई वजाए, जो असमान न मावनी तिन नक नथा पाए, जे मन जाने सूलिया काहे मिठा खाहे। Many people have built forts on this earth and then gone by, and many more have perished after blowing their trumpets in the world. Some egoistic people like Ravana, Dhrutna, who have never recognized the existence of heavens, were finally overpowered by the court of death and brought to their knees. O my mind, if someone knows that one has to suffer after partaking all the sweet things, then one would not eat such sweets. If people knew that by enjoying the worldly pleasures in vicious and sinful actions one has to undergo sufferings later, then why should a human enjoy such pleasures? नानक औगन जेतड़े तेते गली जंजीर जे गुण होन ताकतियन से पाई से वीर अज्ञा गए न मनियन मार कढोवे फिर. O Nanak, this human being gets enchained, caught in the bondage of worldly falsehood based on one's own sins or vicious qualities, and then get into the noose of Yama, while with virtuous deeds one might cast away all afflictions. In fact, such good actions or virtues only help the individual in the end, like brothers or friends. But such people, without the support of the Guru, are not received with honor in God's presence and are discarded by everyone to be thrown out, and they never find peace of mind. Surat Mahla Pehla Kar Pehla Manhali Kirsani Karni Saram Pani Tan Khet नाम बीज संतोख सुहागा रख गरीबी वेस पाओ कर्म कर जमसी से कर पागत देख. This body is to be cultivated with the mind as the farmer or preparing the land for cultivation of God's worship and good actions as our main function as a farmer, and watering this field with the avoidance of vicious deeds. Let God's name be the seed, contentment the plough, and your humble dress the fence. Doing deeds of love, the seed shall sprout, and you shall see your home flourish. Baba, Maya साथ न होए इन माया जग मोहिया विरला बुझे कोई रहा. Let us discard the love of Maya, worldly falsehood, as it does not accompany us and is left behind in the end after death. This worldly falsehood has enamored the whole world and overpowered everyone, but hardly any Guru-minded people have realized its reality and its deceitful character. Pause. Haan hat khar aar jaal सच नाम कर वथ सुरत सोच कर डांड साल तिस विच तिसनो रख वण जारिया स्यों वणज कर ले लाहा मन रस. The lifespan of human being, this body goes on decreasing steadily, and we should engage ourselves in the business of reciting God's true name, as this is the true worship of God, stocking the merchandise of true name in this shop of life. Purity of mind, as the virtuous actions, should be our weighing machine with God's true name as the product to be weighed, which is like the valuable gems. Then let us deal with holy saints as the traders in the business of true name, and let us enjoy the bliss of making huge profits in the business of true name. सुन सास्त सौदागरी सत घोड़े लै चल खर्च बन चंगियाइयां मत मन जाने कल निरंकार कै देश जाहे ता सुख लहे महल. Let your trade be listening to scriptures, and let truth be the horse you take to sell. Gather up the merits for your traveling expenses, and do not think of tomorrow in your mind. When you arrive in the land of the formless God, you shall find peace in the mansion of His presence. लाए चित्त कर चाकरी मन नाम कर काम बन बदिया कर तावणी ताको आखे तन नानक वेखै नदर कर चढ़ै चव गण वन. By inculcating the love of lotus feet of Vaheguru in the heart, we should engage in the service of God, and our main function should be recitation of true name. The God would praise and bless such people who subdue the mind, diverting it from vicious thoughts or sinful actions like wanton desires, thus engaging in the battle of life against vices with the support of true name, and making it successful by destroying the enemy of vices. O Nanak, one enjoys the bliss of the fourth state of equipoise through the grace of God, and one blossoms forth with the attainment of God's true name, and one gets imbued with the love of true name all the time. सूरठ महला पहला चौथ के माए बाप को बेटा नीका ससुर चतुर जवाई बाल कन्या को बाप प्यारा पाई को अत पाई हुक्म भया बाहर कर छोड़िया खिन में भई पराई नाम दान स्नान नाम मन मुख तित तन तूड़ तुमाई. Someone who was the dutiful and beautiful son of one's parents, or a clever and wise son-in-law of his in-laws, or was a darling brother of his brothers, finally faces death one day as per God's will. He was taken away soon to the cremation ground, leaving all the amassed wealth which he had considered as his own, now belonging to someone else. In a moment, this faithless person had never recited true name, nor visited holy places of pilgrimage for taking bath, nor had given alms to the poor without having performed any virtuous deeds, now lies in dust, and the once beautiful body mingles with dust. मन मानिया नाम सखाई पाए परों गुर कै बलिहारै जिन साची बूझ बुझाई रहा. My mind has realized the value and efficacy of God's true name, and I have started reciting it, which would be helpful here and hereafter. I have offered myself as a sacrifice to the Guru, having fallen at his lotus feet, who has blessed me with the right guidance and teachings to recite true name. Pause. जग स्यों झूठ प्रीत मन बेधिया जन स्यों वाद रचाई माया मगन हिनिस मग जो है नाम न लेवै मरै बिख खाई गंधण वैण रता हितकारी शब्दै सुरत न आई रंग न राता रस नहीं बेधया मन मुख पत गवाई. The selfful people, due to their love for worldly falsehood, have engrossed their mind in worldly pleasures, and they are always involved in wrangles against the holy saints. The faithless people are always interested in finding ways and means to earn more money all the time. They never engage in recitation of true name, and they finally die engrossed in the poison of vicious and sinful actions. Such people, they are always involved in the love of crude and impolite language, thus wasting their time in fruitless talk without appreciating and understanding Guru's word. Such faithless people get dishonored due to their sinful actions without enjoying the bliss of Vahiguru's love or true name, and never engage themselves in singing the praises of God. They have never partaken the nectar of true name and light of knowledge in the company of holy saints. Thus their speech is crude and unpleasant. They consider their poverty, mind, and wealth as their own and not a blessing from Vahiguru. They are not aware of his presence. O brother, when one treads the darkened path of Yama due to lack of knowledge, one does not see anything clearly, including his presence, and they are brought in chains at the gates of Yama, and they are not offered any respectable seat either in God's court, and they reap the reward of their own actions. नदर करे ताखी वेखा करना कथन न जाई कन्नी सुन सुन शब्द सलाही अमृत हृदय वसाई निरभाव निरंकार निर्वैर पूरन जोत समाई नानक गुर बिन परम न पागै सच नाम वड्याई. If such selfful, faithless people are blessed with grace of God, then only they may see with their own eyes His beauty or wisdom as nothing else could be stated. Then such people listen to Guru's message with their ears and sing the praises of Vahiguru, inculcating the love of the nectar of true name in their heart. O Nanak, the God who is formless, fearless, with enmity to none, is perceived present in all the beings, but our doubts and whimsical beliefs cannot be eliminated without Guru's guidance. It is through the grace of Guru that we get the boon of reciting true name, thus getting the chance of partaking the nectar of true name by ridding ourselves of dual-mindedness. सूरठ महला पहला दुत के पुड़ तरती पुड़ पानी आसन चार कुंट चौबारा सगल पवन की मूरत का मुख तेरे टकसाला. O Vahiguru, the two parts of this universe, like the grinding stone, are earth and the sky, but there is no limit to your greatness, and there are 4 entrances to your abode in all the 4 directions. Your abode is the citadel of the universe where you are parading. Your formless form provides protection to all the 14 worlds, and one attains the worldly treasure by having a glimpse of your vision. In your mint, the beings are carved out in various shapes, whereas your abode is seen with the same grandeur from all angles. मेरे साहिबा तेरे जोश विडाणा जल थल महियल भरपूर लीणा आपे सर्व समाणा रहाओ. O my true master, your worldly drama is really wonderful beyond our comprehension. You are seen parading all over the lands, oceans, and the skies or the Netherlands in perfect and equal measure, and you are prevalent everywhere and in all the beings equally. Pause. जय जय देखा तह जोर तुम्हारी, तेरा रूप किनेहा एकत रूप फिर है परछन्ना, कोई न किसी जेहा. Wherever I look around, I perceive your presence equally, being omnipresent, and your light is shining all over. What will be your form, distinct from your prime soul, your light? I cannot explain all this, as you do not possess any distinct form, being within our souls, and you are seen in different forms, not even one of them being similar to the other one. अंडज जैरज उत्भुज सेतज तेरे कीते जनता, एक पुरब में तेरा देखिया तू सबना माहे रवंता. All the beings born out of the four various sources of creation, like egg, semen, perspiration, and vegetation. So, how could there be any different form, appearance of yours apart from your light, your prime soul? All the beings created from the four sources of creation belong to you alone. O true Master, I have seen another wonderful aspect of your existence, the creation of this universe. You are pervading in all the beings, being omnipresent. तेरे गुण बहुते मैं एक न जानिया, मैं मूर्ख किछ दीजै, प्रणवत नानक सुन मेरे साहिबा, डुबदा पत्थर लीजै. O Nanak, I was sinking like a stone in this ocean of life. May the God save me from this tortuous ocean through His grace. O Vaheguru, I am like ignorant and fool, without realizing even one of your benedictions, which are beyond any count. May Vaheguru bless me with the nectar of true name through His grace. Surat Mahila पहला. हूँ पापी पतित परम पाखंडी, तू निर्मल निरंकारी, अमृत चाख परम रस राते, ठाकुर शरण तुम्हारी. O pure and formless God, O Immaculate One, I am the greatest sinner among sinners, and I am trying to show off with formal rituals, but have sought your support now. I always enjoy the bliss of partaking the nectar of true name in my heart. Karta tu mein maan nimane, मान महत नाम तनु पल्लै, साचे शब्द समाणे रहाओ. O God Creator, you are the pride of the prideless people like me, and my pride lies in following the teachings of the Guru, and I am always imbued with the love of Guru's word by amassing and reciting the wealth of true name. Pause. तू पूरा हम रे होछे, तू गौरा हम हाउरे, तुझ ही मन राते ऐनिस पर पाते, हर रसना जप मन रे. O Vaheguru, you are perfect in all respects, whereas we are virtueless and without any qualities. You are the greatest of all, while we are having no prestige or status, possessing no weightage. My mind is imbued with you day and night, and in the ambrosial hours of morning. O Vaheguru, my tongue chants your name and my mind meditates on you. तुम साचे हम तुम ही राचे, शब्द पेद फुन साचे, ऐनिस नाम रत्ते से सूचे, मार्जन में से काचे. You are true, and I am absorbed into you. Through the mystery of the Shabad, I shall ultimately become true as well. Those who are imbued with the Naam day and night are pure, while those who die to be reborn are impure. अवर नदी सै किस्सा लाही, तिसे सरीख न कोई, प्रणवत नानक दासन दासा, गुरमत जानिया सोई. O Vaheguru, I cannot perceive anything else except you. I cannot sing the praises of anyone else except you, as there is no second power. O Nanak, I am the slave of your slaves and have realized the secrets of Vaheguru through the Guru's guidance. Surat Mahila Pehla. अलख अपार अगम अगोचर, ना तिस काल न कर्मा, जात अजात अजोनी संभव, ना तिस पाओ न परमा. Vaheguru is limitless, indescribable, too deep for a probe and beyond our comprehension and reach. He is limitless, beyond our reach, and our eyes cannot see him. He is beyond the approach of the god of death and above the effects of three-pronged Maya, of lust for power, greed, and peace. He does not belong to high or low caste. Being casteless, he is never born, he is self-illuminated and cannot be attained with knowledge, and is real and true and not a fantasy. Sache sachiar vitto kurban, na tis roop var nahi rekhya, sache shabd nisan raha. I would offer myself as a sacrifice to such a God who is formless, without any appearance or hue, without any signs or symbols, and it is the true Guru's word which lends us the authority to attain him. Pause. Na tis mat pita sut bandhap, na tis kam na nari, अकुल निरंजन अपर परंपर सगली जो तुम्हारी. The God has no mother, father, son, brother, and has no wanton desires or spouse. He is having no ancestry. He is free from Maya, falsehood. He is distinct from the worldly people, and the light of life emanates from him alone. Kat kat antar brahm lukaya, kat kat jyot sabai, bajar kapat mukte gurmati, nirpay tari lai. That God has been hidden in all the beings with the cover of Maya, and his light pervades all the beings. All the hidden doors have been opened up by the grace and teachings of Guru, and we are immersed in the love of fearless Vaheguru, and we remain in trance of deep meditation. Jant upaye काल सिर जनता, वसगत जुगत सबाई, सतगुर सेव पदार्थ पावै, छूटे शब्द कमाई. Vaheguru has created all beings and placed death over the heads of all. All the world is under his power. Serving the true Guru, the treasure is obtained. Living the word of the Shabad, one is emancipated. Suche Pandey Sat Samave, Vichle Suchar Chari, Tante ko Param Tant Milaya, नानक शरण तुम्हारी. In the pure vessel, the true name is contained, but how few are those who practice this true conduct. The individual soul is united with the Supreme Soul. O Nanak, I seek your sanctuary, O Vaheguru. Surat Mahla Pehla. ज्यों मीना बिन पाणियै त्यों साकत मरै प्यास त्यों हर बिन मरियै रे मना जो बिरथा जावै सास. Just as the fish dies without the presence of water, similarly the faithless people die engrossed in the love of vices and worldly falsehood. They die because of thirst for these. O my mind, the breath, time which is spent without the meditation of God's true name amounts to our spiritual death. मन रे राम नाम जस ले बिन गुर एहो रस क्यों लो गुर मिलै हर दे रहा. O my mind, let us be worthy of winning Vaheguru's acceptance and favor by reciting God's true name and get honored in the world as well. But this true name could not be attained without Guru's guidance. Moreover, we could get united with the Guru through the grace of God and then attain his unison through Guru's guidance. Pause. संत जना मिल संगति गुरमुख तीरथ होए 68 तीरथ मज्जना गुर दरस प्राप्त होए. It is as good and pure as bathing at holy places of pilgrimage when we join the company of holy saints through Guru's teachings, and by having a glimpse of the Guru, we get the same benefit as visiting and bathing at all the 68 holy places. ज्यों जोगी जत बाहरा तप नाही सत संतोख त्यों नामे बिन देहरी जम मारे अंतर दोख. The human body, this life goes to waste without the support of true name, just as a yogi without celibacy and a mendicant without practicing penance, truth and contentment leads a wasteful life. They all face punishment at the hands of Yama, the god of death, by practicing vicious and sinful actions. Sakat prem na paiye, har paiye satgur paaye, sukh dukh data gur mile, kaho nanak shift samaye. A person without Guru's guidance cannot attain God with love alone, as Vaheguru could be attained only by developing love of the Guru. One who meets with the Guru, who is the giver of pleasure and pain, O Nanak, is absorbed in God's praises. Surat Mahla Pehla. तू प्रभुदाता दान मत पूरा हम थारे भिखारी जियो मैं क्या मांगू किछ थिर ना रहाई हर दीजै नाम प्यारी जियो. O God benefactor, what favors could I seek from you when nothing is everlasting? Being transient and temporary, we are begging for your favors, whereas you are our benefactor, full of wisdom and knowledge, being omniscient. May I be bestowed with the wonderful and lovable true name. Kat kat rav rahya banwari जल थल महियल गुप्तो वरतै गुर शब्दी देख निहारी जियो रहाओ. The gardener of this worldly garden is pervading everywhere and all the beings. He is prevalent in hidden form all over, including all the lands, oceans, and skies, and is functioning in all the beings in various forms. The people blessed with Guru's guidance alone could realize, perceive his presence everywhere. Pause. मृत प्याल आकाश दिखायो गुर सतगुर कृपा तारी जियो सो ब्रह्म अजूनी है भी होनी कट पीतर देख मुरारी जियो. When the Guru bestows his grace on us, then we could perceive the omnipresent God everywhere in the earth, this world, netherlands, and the sky in full measure. The God is ever existent without being affected by the cycle of rebirths and will be present in the future as well. We could perceive, realize Him, the killer of demon of egoism within ourselves, within our own heart. Janam maran ko eho jag bapdo din dujai pagat visari jiyo satguru milay ta gurmat paye sakat baji hari jiyo. This man has forgotten God's worship due to his dual-mindedness. This poor man suffers the torture of cycle of births and deaths, but we could get Guru's guidance only when we are united with the Guru, else this human being loses the battle of life, engrossed in the worldly falsehood, Maya. Satguru bandhan तोड़ निरारे बहुर न गर्भ मझारी जियो नानक ज्ञान रतन पर गासया हर मन वसया निरंकारी जियो. O Nanak, such people whose worldly bondage has been broken, cast away by the Guru's support, they are made distinct and they stay aloof from the worldly falsehood, thus escaping the torture of cycle of births and deaths. Such people have been enlightened with the true knowledge within their hearts, and they have crossed this ocean of life successfully by inculcating the love of Vaheguru in their heart. Surat Mahalla Pehla जिस जल नित कारण तुम जग आए सो अमृत गुर पाही जियो छोड़ो वेस पेख चतुराई दुविधा एहो फल नाही जियो. O my mind, the nectar of true name, like the pure water for which we have come to this world, is available only with the Guru through Guru's guidance. O my mind, let us forget about our cleverness in formal rituals, as this nectar of true name cannot be attained with dual-mindedness. Man re thir raho mat kat jahi jiyo बाहर ढूंढत बहुत दुख पावै कर अमृत कट माही जियो रहा. O my mind, let us stick to one path of the true God only, instead of wandering all around, as you will come to grief by seeking Him in the jungles outside, as the nectar of true name is present in full measure within your heart. Pause. अवगुण छोड़ गुणा को तावो कर अवगुण पछताही जियो सर अपसर की सार न जाने फिर कीच बुढ़ाही जियो. O my mind, let us inculcate the virtues within, leaving aside vicious and bad qualities. Otherwise, you will have to repent later due to your sinful actions or vicious thoughts. O my mind, you are getting stuck up in the mud of vicious and sinful actions without having any distinction between good and bad actions, or realizing the opportunity, all the opportune moments which come in your way. अंतर मैल लोभ बहु झूठे बाहर नाव काहि जियो निर्मल नाम जपो सदगुरुमुख अंतर की गत ताहि जियो. O false mind, you are impure with the filth of greed, whereas you are bathing at holy places to purify your body. So what is the use of such visits, O my mind? When you will recite true name through Guru's guidance, then you will wash away your dirt from inside and attain salvation. पर हर लोभ निंदा कूर त्यागो सच गुर बचनी फल पाहि जियो ज्यों पावे त्यों राखो हर जियो जन नानक शब्द सलाही जियो. O Nanak, one could attain salvation by casting away the vices like greed, falsehood and slandering, and by attaining truth by following the Guru's word. We are singing the praises of God through Guru's guidance. O Vaheguru, may you enable us to accept your will with pleasure so as to cross this ocean successfully. Surat Mahalla Pehla Panch Pade Apna Kar मूसत राख न साके की पर कर जो हिन लागा कर दर राखें जे रस चाखें जो गुरमुख सेवक लागा. O my mind, you have not been able to protect your own house from being looted by robbers like wanton desires. How could you protect others' houses? Why do you look for others' faults and shortcomings? Rather, you should look into your own flaws first. O my mind, you will be able to protect and maintain your virtues and good qualities by inculcating the love of nectar of God's true name in your heart. But it is only the Guru-minded people engaged in the service of the Guru who have tasted and partaken the love of God's worship by reciting true name. Man re samajh kavan mat laga naam visar an ras lobhane fir pachtahe abhaga raha. O my mind, why do you not realize the truth and take some sensible action? Why have you taken the wrong advice and followed the wrong path of worldly falsehood? You are engrossed in various worldly pleasures, having forsaken God's true name. You will have to repent in the end, but it will be of no use then. Pause. आवत को हरख जात को रोवें एहु दुख सुख नाले लागा आपे दुख सुख भोग भोगावे गुरुमुख सोवन रागा. O man, you are thrilled on receiving certain worldly possessions and wail and cry on losing them, but all these joys and sorrows are a part of your life. But when you will develop love for Vaheguru by following the Guru's guidance, then you will appreciate that all joy and sorrow is bestowed by Vaheguru only, and it is He Himself who undergoes suffering or enjoys the pleasures. हर रसू पर अवर क्या कहिए, जिन पिया सो तृप्तागा, माया मोहित जिन्हें हो रस खोया, जा साकत दुर्मत लागा. Vahiguru's true name is the most enjoyable, and there is no other pleasure or joy that is superior to true name. And such people who partake of this bliss, they get satiated. But the faithless people who have lost this bliss, being engrossed in worldly falsehood, they follow the wrong advice or wrong path. मन का जियो पवन पत देही देही में देओ समागा, जे तू देहता हर रस गाई, मन तृप्तै हर लिव लागा. The Vaheguru himself is the life of the mind, the master of the breath of life. The divine Vaheguru is contained in the body. If you so bless us, O Vaheguru, then we sing your praises. The mind is satisfied and fulfilled, lovingly attached to Vaheguru. साध संगत में हर रस पाइए, गुरु मिलिए जम पाओ पागा, नानक राम नाम जप गुरमुख हर पाए मस्तक पागा. In the Satsangat, the company of holy, the subtle essence of God is obtained. Meeting the Guru, the fear of death departs. O Nanak, let us chant the name of Vaheguru as Gurmukh. You shall obtain the God and realize your preordained destiny. Surat Mahalla Pehla, Sarab Jiyan Sir Lekh Turahu, बिन लेखे नहीं कोई जियो, आप अलेख कुदरत कर देखे, हुक्म चलाए सोई जियो. Destiny preordained by Vaheguru looms over the heads of all beings. No one is without this preordained destiny. Only He Himself is beyond destiny, creating the creation by His creative power. He beholds it and causes His command to be followed. मन रे राम जपहो सुख होई, ऐनिस गुर के चरण स्तरे वो, हर दाता भुगता सोई रहा. O mind, chant the name of Vaheguru and remain at peace. Day and night serve the Guru's lotus feet. The God is the giver and the enjoyer. Pause. जो अंतर सो बाहर देखो, अवर न दूजा कोई जियो, गुरमुख एक दृष्ट कर देखो, कट कट ज्योत समोई जियो. He is within, see Him outside as well. There is no one other than Him. As Gurmukh, look upon all with the single eye of equality. The divine light is contained in each and every heart. चल तो ठाक रखो कर अपने, गुरु मिलिए ए मत होई जियो, देख दृष्ट रहो बिसमादी, दुख बिसरै सुख होई जियो. Stabilize this mind by inculcating love of God in the heart, and this fact has been realized by those people who have followed Guru's teachings. We are really wonderstruck by perceiving the light of the unseen God pervading in all the beings with such perfection. Thus we could enjoy the bliss of life by having peace of mind. पीवो अप्यो परम सुख पाइयै, निज घर वासा होई जियो। जन्म मरण पव पंजन गाइयै, पुनरप जन्म न होई जियो। By partaking the nectar of true name, we could attain the eternal bliss of the high state of equipoise. We could enjoy the spiritual bliss by attaining self-realization, by abiding within the inner self, by singing the praises of fearless God who casts away our fear complex. We could escape from passing through cycles of births and deaths. तत् निरंजन ज्योत सबाई, सोहम पेद न कोई जियो। अपरंपर पार ब्रह्म परमेसर, नानक गुर मिलिया सोई जियो। We the human beings are the embodiment of Vaheguru, free from the worldly falsehood, Maya, who is pervading all the beings, and there is no distinction between the two. O Nanak, I have been united with the Guru, who is a personification of the formless and limitless God, who remains aloof from the world, being distinct. Surat Mahalla Pehla कर तीजा, एक ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद। जातिस पावा तद ही गावा, ता गावे का फल पावा। गावे का फल होई, जा आपे देवे सोई। When Vaheguru bestows His grace on us, then only we could sing His praises as it pleases Him. Then only it is worthwhile being born in this world. But this is possible only when He blesses us with His grace. Man mere gur bachni nidh pai, ताते सच में रहा समाई रहा। I've got merged with Vaheguru, having amassed the wealth of spiritual knowledge through the Guru's word. Pause. Guru sakhi antar jagi, ta chanchal mat tyagi। गुर साखी का उजियारा, ता मिटया सगल अंधियारा। When I got enlightened with the knowledge of God's secrets through the Guru's teachings, I gave up all my cleverness and my fickle intellect. Thus, I have cast away the darkness of all my ignorance through Guru's guidance. गुरु चरनी मन लागा, तां जम का मार्ग पागा। पै विच निर्भव पाया, तां सहजै कै कर आया। I got free from the fear of Yama when I inculcated the love of the lotus feet of the Guru in my heart by developing the love of fearless God with His wonder awe in my heart. Thus I have got united with Vaheguru, having attained self-realization and stabilization of mind. पढ़त नानक बूझै को बिचारी, इस जग में करनी सारी। करनी कीरत होई, जापे मिलया सोई। O Nanak, this secret has been realized by few learned people with meditation, as the real thing in this world is the good actions only, or God's worship, and then the world praises such good actions. When human sings the praises of Vaheguru, then one gets united by God with himself and one attains salvation. सूरठ महला तीजा, कर पहला, एक ओंकार सतगुर प्रसाद। सेवक सेव करें सब तेरी, जिन शब्द साध आया, गुर किरपा ते निर्मल होआ, जिन विचों आप गवाया, अन दिन गुण गावह नित साचे, गुर कै शब्द सुहाया. O true Master, such people who have liked and loved Guru's guidance, they are always engaged in your service. Such people who have cast away their egoistic tendencies through Guru's guidance and grace, they have purified their hearts. O true God, people who sing your praises day and night through Guru's word, they perform pleasant and virtuous deeds. मेरे ठाकुर हम बारिक शरण तुम्हारी, एको सच्चा सच तू केवल आप मुरारी रहाओ. O true Master, we the children have sought refuge at your lotus feet. O Vaheguru, O killer of demon egoism, you are only truth in this world, and this is a fact. Pause. जागत रहे तिन्नी प्रभ पाया, शब्दे हो में मारी, गिरी में सदा हर जन उदासी, ज्ञान तत् विचारी, सतगुर सेव सदा सुख पाया, हर राखे और तारी. Such people who have been awakened from the slumber of ignorance and who have recited true name through the Guru's guidance, by getting rid of their egoism, they have attained the true Master. Such holy people, they meditate on true God, they lead a life of worldly detachment, though being householders. They have inculcated the love of God in their hearts and have always enjoyed the bliss of life by serving the Guru. Ihu manua deh disatavada, duje pae khuaya, man mukh mugat har naam, na chete birtha janam gavaya, Satguru pete tanao pae, home moh chukaya. This human mind, engrossed in dual-mindedness, was wandering in all 10 directions, and this foolish man has wasted human life without reciting true name. But on meeting the Guru, one attains Vaheguru's true name by casting away egoism and worldly attachments. Har jan sache sach kamave, gur ke shabad vichari, ape mel lay prabh sache, sach rakhya aur tari, nanak naam ho gat mat pai, eha ras hamari. O true God, your devotees, slaves who follow the Guru's word by meditating on it, are always engaged in truth by inculcating the love of true name in their hearts, thus merging with you through your grace. O Nanak, we have attained salvation and acclaimed through the recitation of true name, which is our main treasure in life, but it is all through your grace. सूरठ महला तीजा, भगत खजाना भगतन को दिया, नाव हर तन सच सोए, अकुट नाम तन कदे निखुटै नाही, किनै न कीमत होए, नाम तन मुख उजले होए, हर पाया सच सोए. Vaheguru has bestowed the treasure of reciting true name, or the wealth of his worship, or the wealth of the true knowledge of his saints only. This treasure of true name is limitless and never gets overspent, but the human beings can never evaluate its true value. In fact, people who have attained the wealth of true name, they proceed to God's presence with flying colors, having purified themselves and getting enlightened with its splendor. मन मेरे गुर शब्दी हर पाया जाए बिन शब्दै जग भुलदा फिरदा दरगह मिलै सजाए रहाओ इस देही अंदर पंच चोर वसै काम क्रोध लोभ मोह अहंकारा अमृत लूटै मन मुख नहीं बूझै कोई न सुने पुकारा अंधा जगत अंधवर तारा बाझ गुबारा. O my mind, we could attain unison with Vaheguru through the Guru's guidance alone, whereas the whole world is lost in doubts and misgivings or dual-mindedness without Guru's support. Then they are punished in God's court after death. Pause. There are 5 thieves like wanton desires, anger, greed, worldly attachments, egoism residing within the human body, or robbing the wealth, nectar of good qualities and virtues from within the human soul and mind. But the self-willed people have no knowledge of this loss. Even if someone were to make a noise about this theft, no one listens to one's wails or cries. The whole world is functioning in the darkness of ignorance like a blind man. As there is total darkness within the soul, in the mind, in the absence of Guru's guidance. How मैं मेरा कर कर विगुते क्यों चले ना चल दिया नाल गुरमुख होवे सो नाम ध्यावे सदा हर नाम समाल सच्ची बाणी हर गुण गावे नदरी नदर निहाल. The egoistic people, they waste the whole life in their egoism or I amness, and they get disgusted, whereas nothing accompanies this man after death, as all these worldly possessions are left behind in the end, while proceeding to the next world. The Guru-minded people, however, inculcate the love of God's true name in their heart and amass the wealth of true name in body, in mind. The souls, the people who sing praises of Vaheguru with love and devotion, with body and mind, through Guru's word, they enjoy the bliss of life. They get thrilled through the grace of Vaheguru. Satgur Gyan Sada Kat Chanan Amar Sir Badshah An din भगत करे दिन राती राम नाम सच लाहा नानक राम नाम निस्तारा शब्द रते हर पाहा. The dictates, ordains of the people who are always enlightened with the knowledge of true Guru, they supersede the commands, orders of even the greatest kings. They are always immersed in the worship of God during day and night, and there's a bright sunlight during the night too, as the darkness of ignorance has been expelled from within themselves. They gain the profit of true name of God in this business of life. O Nanak, such people who are imbued with the love of Guru's teachings, they perceived Vaheguru close by within themselves, and they have crossed this ocean of life successfully by reciting God's true name. Surat Mahila Tija Dasan Das Hove ताहर पाए विचों आप गवाई भगतां का कारज हर आनंद है अन दिन हर गुण गाई शब्द रटे सदाई करंगे हर स्यों रहे समाई. When one becomes slave of Vaheguru's disciples, then one finds him and he dedicates ego from within. God of bliss is object of devotion for such a person, and night and day such a person sings praises of Vaheguru, attuned to the word of the Shabad. Vaheguru's devotees remain ever as one absorbed in him. हर जियो साची नदर तुम्हारी, अपनिया दासानो कृपा कर प्यारे, राखो पैज हमारी राव. O dear God, your glass of grace is truest one. You show your mercy to your devotees, O beloved God, and you preserve their honor. Pause. शब्द सलाही सदा हो जीवा, गुरमति पाओ पागा, मेरा प्रभु साचा अत सवालियो, गुर सेवया चित लागा, साचा शब्द सच्ची सच बाणी, सोजन अन दिन जागा. I live by continually praising word of Shabad under Guru's instruction, and my fear has been dispelled. My true God is so beautiful. Serving the Guru, my consciousness is focused on him. Those who chant the true word of the Shabad and the most true one, words from Gurbani, they remain awake day and night. महागंभीर सदा सुखदाता, तिसका अंत न पाया, पूरे गुर की सेवा कीनी, अचिंत हर मन वसाया, मन तन निर्मल सदा सुख अंतर, विचों परम चुकाया. He is so very deep and profound. He is giver of eternal peace. No one can find limits of him. Serving the true Guru, perfect Guru, one becomes carefree, enshrining God within one's mind. The mind and body become immaculate and pure, and a lasting peace fills one's heart, and doubt is eradicated from within. हर का मार्ग सदा पंथ विखड़ा, को पाए गुरु विचारा, हर कै रंग राता शब्दे माता, हो मैं तजे विकारा, नानक नाम रता इक रंगी, शब्द सवारण हारा. The way of God is always such a difficult path. Only few find it. By contemplating the Guru, imbued with Guru's love and intoxicated with Shabad, one can renounce ego and corruption. O Nanak, imbued with the Naam in love of one God, one is embellished with the word of the Shabad.